Hello everyone. Today I'm going to paint this poppy. I'm going to be using an 8x10 canvas, some burnt umber, titanium white, teal, a green, red, and a yellow. As for brushes, whatever you're comfortable with, I had a ton of them. Just make sure that you have at least one detail brush and a line brush for the really fine stuff you'll want the liner brush. It'll come in handy. All I'm doing here is putting a layer of burnt umber. You can call it a wash, but it's a little bit darker than a wash. I'm covering the whole canvas, and then I'm going to let it dry. After it dries, I am going to add teal and titanium white, and I'm pretty much just slopping it on, trying to do like an X, and when I was trying to like make myself do it, I was too aware of it, so it wasn't flowing the way I wanted it to flow. But it doesn't matter because the technique that I'm going to do, it's okay if brush strokes show, and it's okay if that burnt umber shows through because we're using that color in the painting. And I'm just adding a little more white on top to kind of lighten it in the center there where the main flower is going to go. Then I'm going to let this dry. And I'm going to use a very stiff bristled brush and use a dry brush technique and just scratch in the other colors that I'm going to be using. The burnt umber, some of the red, some of the green, and you can see the big blobs of brown. One of two things happened. I either had too much paint on my brush or I pressed down too hard. And I'm going to say it was too much paint on my brush. So if you take, when you dab your paint in, just barely touch the tip of it in your paint, and then tap it on a paper towel, get the excess off. I just did the same thing with the first hill of red, because you just want like scratches of color in there. Later on, you're going to see I'm going to try and hide the big blob of brown that's, or the burnt umber that's kind of in the center there. I don't like that green down, I just did that. Light touches, I have the white, and I just covered it up with the teal. Just light touches, so that you're just scratching it in. Direction doesn't matter. I kind of went up and down, diagonal. I didn't do horizontal, but pretty much vertical and diagonal. And then I'm going to let that dry. So what I've done now is I looked online and found a picture of a poppy that I liked, and I used some graphite paper, and I traced the outline of the poppy onto my canvas. And I'm filling it in with my red right now. I would have preferred cadmium red, but I am out. So I was using this other red. Is it this one? I don't know if I can even pronounce it. Quinacridone dark red. And as you can see, it doesn't have a whole lot of coverage. So I'm going to end up switching my red to a primary magenta. But I went ahead and put that down because I used that red in my background. So I had to take a break and go cook dinner. So that part was able to dry. And I'm just going in and I'm filling in with my new red color. And you'll see me changing brushes. You'll see me going in and picking up some burnt umber to kind of line um, where the petals are, so I can tell the difference to keep the direction of my stroke going the right way. So I move to the bottom petal, or top petal for your view because you're seeing this upside down, and fill that in. And I'm adding a little bit of burnt umber into it because that is the underneath of the flower. So I'm trying to darken it up a little bit. And at this point, I really haven't changed my brush. I'm using a really small, like maybe a 1/4 inch angle brush. And so there I go with the burnt umber, trying to define that petal so that I know where I am with my, what direction my brush strokes are supposed to go. And since this is a voiceover, I'm going to find it very difficult here to talk for 17 minutes. So, how's the weather where you're at? It's getting a little chilly here in Florida. So I just continue to fill this in with my red and touches of burnt umber with my liner brush there. And this video is only sped up 4 times the speed. I mean, it would be like an hour and 18 minutes long or something. I forget what it said. So I added just a touch of white into my red, and I'm trying to blend in the highlights along the edges. And there's 2 parts. The corners of that one petal is where the flower kind of folded over. So that would be like the inside top of the petal. Now I'm doing burnt umber as a base coat in the center. And don't know where I'm at yet. I think I'm getting ready to go for the green, maybe. Some big burnt umber spot just bothers me. Yes, and I'm not happy with my green. It is not covering. So I'm going to do all kinds of weird things with this green. And I apologize that I'm out of camera view. I had forgotten that I zoomed in. I had more trouble with this camera this time. But I'm just painting the stems and the leaves. Very soon here you'll see that I scoot the picture up and you'll be able to see more of it. I'm just painting in the stems and leaves is all I'm doing that you cannot see with this green that I'm not happy with, and I believe it was Viridian green, and it's just too translucent for me. I expected it to be a lot more opaque. I mean, I've used it before, but usually I've used it as a mixing color, not by itself. But I'm going to do all kinds of funky things with this green. Let's see. Sorry, I just painted all that in. You know, it's just filling in my outline of my tracing. And you know, some people think tracing is cheating, but there's nothing wrong with it. You still, all you have is an outline. You still have to do all the shading and everything to make it look right. You're just giving yourself a basic idea. But hey, if you can draw good and you can draw a flower well, then don't trace. Okay, so now I'm trying to come in with some burnt umber and my red mixed, and then a little orangish color more red than orange, and doing some of the darker shading areas and trying to darken areas that I tried to darken before to let it stand out. The lighting here doesn't show it very well, but to my naked eye, it's the colors, they're there. The shading is there. The veins of the flower, they're there. It just doesn't show up well with this lighting on the camera. So I just keep touching it, trying to blend, dipping it into different colors, trying to do the wet blend, adding more red to brighten it, adding burnt umber to deepen it, adding the little orange for some like mid-tone, trying to smooth out a little bit that outer edge. I'm going to pick up some burnt umber there and line the edge of that flower, trying to define it better. Now, I don't know the exact name of the flower parts, but I'm putting little lines that are going to go around the outer circle of the center, and then that are like, those pieces are like lines that I just did that you can barely see, which you won't be able to see anyways by the time we put all the dots in. Those are kind of like the ones that are going to come more open up. And those are the little dots that go like on the tip of those little lines. I wish I knew the technical name. And I'm just going in the center, and I'm adding my red, my burnt umber, my lightened burnt umber with some white, my red and my burnt umber mixed. I'll even go in later on and add a few touches of the teal into it. So now, I'm trying to get the leaves so you can see what I'm doing. Now you're going to see me come back in and start playing with this green some more. I just am not happy with the greens. I add another color of green. I pull in some yellow to mix to lighten it. I mix the teal with the green. I did several layers, several shades, just, a little stroke, not filling it in solid. And the leaves, the stems, the whole bit. Threw some burnt umber in there. I just was not happy with the green. Now the end results, I think, is pretty good. I'm adding it onto the pods, both of them, the one you can't see on the bottom or on the top of your screen. But I am going to just keep adding more shades of green. You can see right there where I've added some yellow to it to kind of brighten it up. And I'm just going to keep going in, layer after layer. I'm going to add it to the stems, I'm adding it to the leaves, I'm adding it to the outer buds. I'll even come back in with some white, some red, some teal, the burnt umber. Just added some more color to that bottom center. And in the middle of the bud where you see it's getting ready to bloom, and the flower going to come out. And put the red in there. I'm going to add a little bit of umber, burnt umber in there. I'm going to add a little of the orange color that I mixed. And I'm just going to keep fussing and fussing and fussing. And sometimes fussing can be a bad thing. But I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to play with it. I'm trying to define the shadow there. Using the liner brush. Folks, I got 3 more minutes of this video left. More green. I darkened it with some burnt umber. I just can't get stems and the leaves the way I like them. See, I just keep going back at it and back at it, giving it a little time to dry, trying to do some wet blending, some dry blending, just whatever I can to make myself happy with it, I guess. Two more minutes. Adding some more color to the center there. I believe, nope, not the teal yet. Just put little dots in. Dab and dab and dab. Some more green. Define the lines. Trying to define the veins of the leaves down the center, up out in the little leaflet part. So at some point here, my camera's going to shut off and I don't realize it. But I'm just adding colors to the leaves and the stems. And I took some still shots so that you can see exactly what I did. Now the white looks real bright when it's wet, but when it dries, it really tones down a lot. It just, gives it like a little light reflection. I'm going to add red in here. I'm going to add teal in here. Burnt umber is in here. Just all sorts of things. Whatever colors that I've used in this painting were added. I dotted the buds with specks. Added a little more color to the flower. Added the red, the teal, and the white to the stems. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you give this painting a chance. And